Good evening. It is so wonderful to see you all here tonight. Greetings to our esteemed guests and colleagues. In just a moment, we will welcome the platform party and hear the opening cry of the Verger Pro Tem. This is one of the great days of a lifetime for our graduates, their families, and friends. Thank you for joining us tonight. Penn State Dickinson Law is committed to being a teaching and learning community that is diverse, open, and safe by emphasizing law's role in achieving progress on behalf of community. This company has been convened this evening to confer scholastic degrees. By the direction of the Board of Trustees of the Pennsylvania State University and the faculty of Dickinson Law, I hereby declare this convocation open.
Hello, everyone. That was almost acceptable. Let's try it one more time. Hello, everyone. Hello. There we go. Yes! I think I found my place. On behalf of the staff, faculty, and administration at Penn State Dickinson Law, I welcome you all to this commencement ceremony. This is a celebration. Family, friends, administrators, faculty, staff, and colleagues, please join me in saluting the class of 2021. That's right. Throughout May and June, we celebrate our parents. Even more than you, today is about all of those mothers, fathers, grandparents, spouses, partners, and friends who got you to this very moment. To the family and friends of the members of the class of 2021, I commend you for molding and shaping your graduate. To the class of 2021, I am in awe of you, individually and collectively. You entered law school 3 years ago, expecting a challenging educational experience, and midway through, like all of us, you were blindsided by a global pandemic, a racial reckoning, and an upheaval within our democracy. Our community has been impacted by these events. No one more than you. Your educational experience shifted under your feet. Some of your employment opportunities withered. Financial and personal burdens increased, and you grappled with adversity. Yet, amidst that chaos, you proved yourselves to be the courageous, the creative, and the resilient. Undeterred, you continue to see value in a legal education and reaffirmed that these values were consistent with your own strong sense of duty, morality, and obligation. As a group, you have combined to pledge to promote excellence in the classroom, the clinics, and your community with a personal commitment to building a lasting network with your past, present, and future colleagues in this noble profession. You did this in service to others. While it was my responsibility to lead this institution and the people within it, you must know that I learned from you more than I ever taught, and I received from you so much more than I ever gave. I can speak for my colleagues when I say we are all better because of you. I implore you to look around to see who is surrounding you. I implore you to look at your peers. These are the people who will sustain you throughout your professional career and your life's personal challenges. Always remember this day. It commemorates the 3 years you have invested in yourself, in each other, in this law school, and in your profession. I want to take this time, and I did keep y'all standing. Y'all could sit.
Well, you didn't tell us.
I know. I was like, they just keep standing. Oh, thank you. I want to take this time to recognize the grace that you have shown this administration, the faculty, and the staff during the pandemic. Your patience, your compassion, and your support allowed us to navigate the crises around us while serving the needs of the Dickinson Law community. It is the same patience and compassion and support that you will provide daily to your clients, whether institutional or individual. That service to public, to the profession, and to justice. I urge you to stir the embers of justice in your heart, your thoughts, and your deeds, always taking seriously the preparation that is required to do justice. Whether you are clerking for a court, entering private practice, embarking on military or public service, launching a business, opening your own firm, or serving the nonprofit sector, there is no substitute for serious and immersive preparation. Today's graduation demonstrates your serious of purpose to complete a program of legal education successfully. The next gate, my friends, is the bar exam. That's right, preach. Can I get an amen? Amen. You are the face of professionalism, and I know you will study. I know you will study hard, and I know that you will succeed. All I have to say to you about this is, when you get tired, when you get anxious, when you get bored, just remember that the purpose of this licensure requirement is to demonstrate to your colleagues that you have acquired the fundamental knowledge and tools necessary to begin to serve the people of this Commonwealth and other states, all of whom deserve access to your talent and your skills. Today marks an important transition from Dickinson Law student ambassador to the ambassadors to the legal profession. You are the future of our noble profession. I applaud you. We applaud you, the class of 2021. You will carry the mantle well. I know you will. That said, I am honored to introduce Dr. Nicholas P. Jones. Dr. Jones is Penn State's Executive Vice President and Provost. He came to Penn State in July 2013 from Johns Hopkins University, where he served as the Benjamin T. Rome Dean of the Whiting School of Engineering. As provost, he is the chief academic officer of the university, responsible for the academic administration of the university's resident instruction, research, and continuing education. In his role as executive vice president, he serves as the chief executive officer in the president's absence. Dr. Jones holds a master's and PhD in civil engineering from Caltech and a Bachelor of Engineering from the University of Auckland in his home country of New Zealand. I'll say one more thing before turning the microphone over to Dr. Jones. He is a friend to Penn State Dickinson Law. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jones to the podium.
Thank you very much, Dean Conway. Usually I'm getting honked at for a different reason, so thank you very much. It is with great pleasure that we celebrate the commencement of the Dickinson Law class of 2021. It is an honor to share this special day with our graduates, their families, and friends, both in person and via live stream. This impressive group of students has contributed substantially to the intellectual and civic life of the Pennsylvania State University community. I wish to join Dean Conway in recognizing the families and friends of our graduates. Your sacrifice, understanding, support, and caring have helped them to attain their educational goals. This encouragement is very important, and it's not always easy when you share the stresses and strains of law school. It takes a special commitment. I ask that everyone join me now in thanking our students, families, and friends for all they have done to support their success. Thank you very much. At the heart of every great university are its faculty and the staff members who support them. They contribute to the experiences of our students in countless ways, and their commitment to excellence and high standards prepare our students to be successful members of the legal profession and the larger community. Please join me now in thanking the faculty and staff members for the important roles they have played in the education of those graduating today. Thank you. I like this honking thing. This is fun. Members of the class of 2021, as Dickinson Law alumni, you will join a distinguished group of attorneys, judges, government and corporate leaders, and legal educators. Since its founding in 1834, Dickinson Law graduates have included several U.S. senators and state governors, the first Secretary of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, more than 100 federal, state, and county judges, and even more prominent lawyers and civic leaders. Similarly, your futures hold the promise of unique opportunities and great success. Around the world, our institution is known for excellence in teaching, research, and service, and it ranks among the premier institutions of higher learning worldwide. All of you have been wonderful ambassadors for Penn State and for Dickinson Law. And, like previous classes, yours is known for its desire to contribute to the community and make a difference. During your time at Penn State, Many of you have offered legal services to residents who cannot afford private legal representation. You have contributed to the intellectual rigor of scholarly publications, and you have held judicial internships to gain work experience. You have studied long and hard and undoubtedly made great sacrifices to get to this day. You are ready to take your place in the legal community and to serve with intelligence, integrity, and honor. Your skills and expertise are greatly needed as we continue to seek justice in our world during uniquely challenging times. Our hopes for you are very high, as are our expectations. I am confident that you will contribute to the world in positive ways and that you will all make us proud. I congratulate you on your achievements and wish you the best as you forge meaningful and impactful futures. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. Zhao Guozhen was selected by her classmates to deliver remarks. Prior to attending Dickinson Law to earn her Master of Laws degree, Attorney Zhao practiced law for 12 years in Beijing, China, before coming to the United States to be a fellow of the National Endowment for Democracy in Washington, D.C. She served as executive secretary for a Chinese expatriate nonprofit. Please welcome Attorney Zhao to the stage.
Congratulations, class of 2021. We have been isolated by COVID-19 for such a long time. At last, we gather together, right? And we have been silent for such a long time. Let's make some noise. Thank you. We have borne enough this year, right? So, thank God it's graduation day. Think about the wonderful stories you can tell your grandkids. Start each story in this way. Once upon a time, we were forced to wear masks at the law school. No one could see each other's faces. That's why I took off my mask. I want to show the truth. Even truth not necessary to be beautiful, but the truth is truth. Even on graduation day. You may be wondering why this Asian woman, who is the age of many classmates' mothers, came to Dickinson Law from 10,000 miles away from another hemisphere. The reason is simple. I want to break the shell. Looking back on my life is all a process of breaking the shell, one after another. When I was young, I loved watching chickens hatch out of their shells. Is what's so amazing. All the birds in the world, even if those fly highest, are born by breaking their shells. I was an economist and considered that legal language was the most boring in the world. So, what made me break the shell and become a lawyer? It was in the 1990s. A relative was suspected of committing a crime, but we were unable to afford an attorney. The only solution is to become a lawyer. There was only 3 months for me to prepare for the bar exam, and the books to study had 6,032 pages. I forced myself to read 200 pages every day. It was so stressful that I cried. I did not even have time to wipe my tears. I know why I passed the bar exam on the first try. My desire to break the shell was so strong. Upon hatching first, I found that legal language is most charming. It's so concise, it's so beautiful, and should use not one word more, not one word less. Second, my thinking took a big leap. I began to understand that I did not know what I did not know, and I started to observe the world with legal eyes. After a few years of practice, I loved this profession so much that I hoped to do it for the rest of my life. So I decided to break the shell again, to enter law school. A secret, when I passed the bar exam, I did not get any legal education. 19 years ago, at the law school in Beijing, I was the oldest among dozens of female classmates. Today, I may be the oldest student at Dickinson Law without binary distinction. Why no noise? Thank you all. During the 3 years at the Beijing Law School, I created a masterpiece. My first daughter, Monica, she's here today with me. That left me only 2 years to finish my law school, and I made it. At that time, China enforced one-child policy, forbidding a second child. But in 4 years, again, I decided to break the shell and had my second daughter, Julia, an illegal child in marriage. China's policy is like the moon and may be different. On the 1st and 15th day of the month, 10 years after Julia hatched, China made two-child policy. Government slogans stated, the local official shall be in charge of assuring every woman in their village should have a second child. Thanks be to God, I have had 2 children without the help of my local official. Thank you. China, in the novel The Godfather, the Don says, a lawyer with his briefcase can steal more than 100 men with guns. Making money certainly can make a person happy, but I heard the calling and I broke another shell. I started helping those who were hopeless and in need of an attorney. Such an activity in the service of others brought me to leave China and come to America and then to Dickinson Law with all of you. Yes, all the way I've been breaking the shell. When I'm not satisfied, I tell myself, break the shell. When the status quo is good, I tell myself, Don't be greedy for the easy life. Break the shell. Thank you. Thank all of you. In the USA, my heart echoed with "I have a dream." The Statue of Liberty led my way to learn the laws of the United States. Now, English is my toughest shell. I'm still struggling with speaking American. All the outstanding people here today have been helping me crack it. When I was afraid that my English was not good enough and refrained from asking questions, Professor McGill he walked to my seat and said to me, "If you have any questions, please ask. No question is too small to ask." I realized that Dickinson Law is the school that I dreamed of. When Dean Dodge, Dean Dodge, thank you, said at the orientation, "If you have any difficulties, please come to us. That's why we are here. We don't want any students to go to bed hungry." I realized that Dickinson Law is the school I dreamed of. When incidents or hate toward Asians happen in this country, Dean Conway, right here, thank you, told me, "Guo Zhen, this is your name and your identity. Just keep your name. You should be proud of being Asian." I realized that Dickinson Law is the school that I dreamed of. When Professor Groom, Professor Cool, and Dean Exforth, so many professors said to me, "Even after you graduate, you can always find me when you need help." I realized that Dickinson Law is the school that I dreamed of. Professor Morris, you probably have not counted, but we have sent each other over 350 emails. You let me know Dickinson Law is the school that I dreamed of. When I asked for help from my classmates, no exception, everyone helped me with all the enthusiasm. You let me know Dickinson Law is the school that I dreamed of. Sometimes the pressure has made me cry. Not only you cry, I cry too. Like when I was preparing for the bar exam in China, but this time it's different. You are with me. I do not feel lonely. I would like to thank all of you, our professors, all the staff, and my classmates, all of you who are here and who are online to watching us, because they care about us. Dickinson Law has nourished us. The days we have spent in law school are the incubation period of our lives. The high-flying birds can break their shell because they are nourished by calcium absorbed from the shell. Every class, every page of book, and every interesting conversation has made me grow. I believe the same for you. The little bird that hatches from its shell must continue to grow before it can fly high. We must now continue to grow as lawyers, as citizens. The forest will not hinder the streams. The sky will not hinder the flying birds. No matter what challenge is in our future, we will find the way. Our vision can reach where we have not yet walked. Our hearts can reach what we have not yet seen. Only when you want to fly can you break the shell. When the shell is broken, there will be a pain. But if the shell is not broken, it will be painful for a lifetime. With each broken shell, we are reborn. Don't be afraid of the unknown outside of the shell. Once you break it, you will be a bird beyond the clouds. Break the shell, even if it's whom you worship. Break the shell, even if it was your whole world. Break the shell, if it is an outdated law. Break the shell, if it is an unjust system. Thank you.
Persuasion. Thank you. It is now my honor to introduce our commencement speaker. Susan Jen Davis, former Chief Sustainability Officer of Comcast NBC Universal, is an industry expert and senior CSR executive with over 25 years of experience in communications, media, entertainment, and technology. As Comcast NBC Universal's first CSO, Ms. Jen Davis was responsible for identifying sustainability strategies and priorities, for implementing the company's sustainability program across all of Comcast NBC Universal business units and functions. Prior to her promotion as CSO, Ms. Jen Davis served as Senior Vice President of Operations and Compliance at Comcast, where she implemented product policies, operationalized regulatory and legal requirements, reduced costs to the cable business, and managed business compliance in the areas of privacy, data security, piracy, environmental health, and safety. In 2011, Ms. Jen Davis negotiated a historic memorandum of understanding between Comcast and the Asian American and Pacific Islander national community as part of the company's acquisition of NBC Universal. This created groundbreaking diversity commitments in the areas of programming, supplier and employment, and community investment. She served on Comcast's Internal Diversity Council, and she was the company liaison to the external Comcast NBC Universal Joint Diversity Council and to the AAPI community. Ms. Jen Davis was the executive sponsor of Asian Pacific Americans at Comcast, a company-sponsored employee resource group, which focuses on the recruiting, promotion, and development of Asian American and Pacific Islander talent. Over the past decade, she has helped to create leadership development programming for Comcast Asian American employees. She led the launch of Comcast's Internet Essentials program, which offers affordable high-speed internet for low-income households. Now in its 10th year, Internet Essentials is Comcast's largest, most successful community investment initiative, which has connected more than 10 million low-income Americans to all the opportunities of a digital world through low-cost, high-speed internet at home. Recognized by Forbes as one of 5 women of color who should be on your radar screen, she completed the Women in Cable Telecommunications Senior Executive Summit at Stanford University's Graduate School of Business, the Women's Executive Leadership Program at the Wharton School of Business, and the Cable and Telecommunications Association Executive Management Program at the Harvard Business School. She has been named one of the most powerful women in cable by Cable Facts magazine and one of the top 50 most influential minorities in cable by Cable World for many years. An advocate for AAPIs in business and corporate America, she is active in the community nationally. She serves as the chair of the board of the Asian Pacific American Institute for Congressional Studies and is a director of the board of the Asian Pacific Islander American Chamber of Commerce and Entrepreneurship. Additionally, Ms. Jen Davis is a past board member of Leadership Education for Asian Pacific and the Asian and Pacific American Scholarship Fund. Her other volunteer leadership service includes the board of directors of the Juvenile Law Center and the board of trustees of her undergraduate alma mater, Bryn Mawr College, where she earned a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science. She holds, I hope most proudly, a Juris Doctor degree from Penn State Dickinson Law. She is an active runner, of which I am very jealous, and resides in the Philadelphia area with her daughter, Sophia. Please welcome Ms. Jen Davis to the podium.
Good evening. Dean Conway, May is Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, but I thought that when I was asked to speak here that I would be the only Asian on this stage, so that didn't happen. I thought that I would be the funniest Asian on the stage. That did not happen. I thought that I would be the most impressive Asian on this stage, and that did not happen. So I am not going to give your remarks for tonight. So thank you, good luck, Godspeed. Exactly. After that bio, who wants to hear more? To those graduating today, you are unlike any class of law school graduates of the past. Having endured the worst pandemic in modern history that wiped out half of what have been your actual classroom experience. Little do you know that missing that many in-person classes has been a blessing in disguise because you avoided the worst thing about law school, the public humiliation of the in-person experience of the Socratic method. So for that, I congratulate you. It was not easy for Dean Conway to convince me to do this commencement speech. It is not that I am not honored. I am deeply so. But it's because my time at the law school was not wholly positive. Was I really the right person to be on this stage? I came to Dickinson fresh from a healthy dose of a feminist education at Bryn Mawr College, a liberal arts school for women. As I entered the law school, my attitude was there was nothing a woman of color cannot do. So, while at law school, I did what every radical, feminist, anti-racist activist would do. I organized a protest. I was co-president of the Minority Law Students Association, and we organized a sit-in, protesting the lack of diversity at the law school. We sat on the floor of the old, by the way, decrepit, Trickett Hall in front of the dean's office, and we refused to go to class until the administration met with us to tell us how they would work towards more diversity in the student body, faculty, and administration. I was very pleased to see that many of my classmates joined our sit-in and refused to go to class. The local news outlets covered the protests, and I remember being interviewed on the steps of the law school. My mother saw me on TV and was horrified. I remember how she was so upset and scared for me. "Why are you doing this?" she asked with great concern. More on that later. Some of my classmates responded to my law school activism by including me in an informal list of class superlatives. You know, most likely to succeed kind of thing. I was named the Geraldo Rivera of my class. And if you don't know who he is, look him up. Having just concluded a successful, nearly 30-year career in corporate America, being one of the highest-ranking women and the first chief sustainability officer for a Fortune 50 company, all I have to say is, how do you like me now? It just goes to show, never, ever underestimate a woman of color who was raised by immigrants. Thank you. My bio tells you a lot about my professional successes. All of what I did, but not who I am. It doesn't tell you what lies beneath the surface. I am a child of immigrants from Korea. It doesn't say that I grew up as one of the few kids of color in my school. It fails to mention that my parents had a lot of difficulty being accepted here. Always the foreigner, never American enough, struggling to be heard because of their accented English. I lost both of my parents in the past year and a half. My father just died a month ago, and my mother died in August of 2019. I think they would have been so proud to see me up on this stage today. Probably pretty amazed. Shortly before they died, I witnessed a miracle. Hearing from my mom and dad what every Korean child yearns to hear from their parents. I am proud of you. I think they were amazed at what I had accomplished in this country. My siblings and I were their American dream because they came to realize that this was not a dream that they would realize for themselves. You see, they never said those words, "I am proud of you," not because they weren't proud of us, but because they had more important things to do when we were growing up. They continually shrugged off those death by 1,000 cuts to their dignity and pride. They were too busy surviving. My parents brought all of our relatives to the country. They resettled each and every one of them, got them jobs, a place to live, put their kids in school. They endured discrimination and racism on a frequent basis. Nothing was easy. Yet they never complained. They just endured. And this is why my mother questioned my law school activism. Why was I jeopardizing my hard-won accomplishments? When I was a kid, I envied the kids who got to hang out in the malls and play, while I had to babysit siblings and cousins, accompany my dad to register my cousin for school, work at my parents' grocery store every Saturday. I resented it. Why couldn't I be like everyone else? But without my knowledge, I got the best life skills training anyone could have wished for. Problem solving, organizational skills, the ability to communicate, thinking outside the box. My immigrant childhood, my life experience gave me those superpowers. What's your story? What lies beneath the surface for you? What have you been through that made you the person you are today, about to get your legal degree? You didn't just get to this day accidentally. You got here by transforming your life's experiences into personal success. It's okay if you don't have clarity about what comes next, because what got you here will be what propels you forward in the next adventure. I promise you that. It happened to me. My bio also doesn't tell you that I made a lot of mistakes, stumbled and failed at points in my career path with a professional road that had a lot of twists and turns that I navigated without a GPS system. I often didn't know what I was doing. My credentials don't tell you how many people helped me along the way. My sponsors who opened doors for me, who gave me tough feedback, who supported me through failure, who brought me into rooms where it happens, who put me up for big assignments and promotions. And my bio doesn't mention how thankful I am to my parents for how much their love and support and sacrifice created a strong foundation for my success. We used to be taunted a lot for being Asian when we were in school. And I would complain to my mom about this. And she had these simple words of wisdom for me. You're Korean, you're better than them, they're nothing. And while these words did not soothe my wounds of ridicule and lack of belonging, I came to realize what she really meant, that I should be proud of who I am, that I should not let anybody define me, and I carry those learnings with me to this day. My father was a social worker, and I remember helping him write reports that his boss required him to do because he supposedly could not understand my dad's English. Can you imagine how a highly educated man with numerous degrees from American universities felt having to submit these reports, and how humiliating it was for him to ask his middle school daughter, me, to review them before he submitted them? Well, I don't know, because it never seemed to bother him. His words of wisdom to me were, just go to work every day, never miss a day of work. What he meant was, show up every day. Don't let them see you sweat, and never, never, never give up. I get my inspiration to face life with grit and resilience from him. I didn't do it alone, and neither did you. Whether it was your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, friends, a caring teacher, a neighbor, whomever it was who was there for you, that's how you got here. You stood on their shoulders. As you go out into the world, remember how it felt to get here, to have somebody help you, someone who took the time to see what lies beneath the surface. Don't forget to give back. As Maya Angelou says, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Pay attention to who's not in the room, who isn't speaking, who needs help. The person you notice and help will never forget how you made her feel, and the investment will have a ripple effect that will continue to grow. What convinced me to accept Dean Conway's invitation, and by the way, she stalked me to speak tonight, was hearing that I think 44% of the current school body are racial minorities, if I have that right. When I was here, I don't think there was even 10%. That shocked me. Law school was not a place where I felt like I belonged. I felt like an outsider because I didn't see anybody like me. I didn't feel like I fit in. I remember writing an op-ed in the school paper about my experience with racism in Carlisle and at the school. Someone wrote a parody response to it, making a joke of my opinion and my experience. And although there were 50% women in my class, there were only 2 female professors and no women administrators. There were no minorities on the faculty or in leadership. Professors Terry and Kellett made such an impact on me, and I am so glad to see that Professor Terry is still working here and teaching here. She made a difference. So I kept my distance from the law school. But after talking to Dean Conway, I thought, you can't change the world if you don't believe the world can change. As James Baldwin said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. Dickinson Law, you have faced the lack of diversity, and you have begun the change. A testament to the deliberate work of the administration, the faculty, the students, and the trustees. I read about the faculty resolution that was passed in April condemning violence against people of color and committing to the creation of an anti-racist approach to legal education. I congratulate you for this hard work. With this sea change, there is a recognition that if we're to make progress against racism, bigotry, otherness, if we're going to create an environment of inclusion where everyone can be their authentic selves, if we're going to set up our law students to become agents of change for justice, if we're going to create a true community, we need to transform our institution through actions. Institutions are made of people, so our work is about changing ourselves, humanizing one another, having compassion for one another, and building community with one another. And that starts with looking beneath the surface of our biases and stereotypes that we've been conditioned to believe all our lives. The Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh said, "For things to reveal themselves to us, we need to be ready to abandon our views about them." This work, building the beloved community, is our work. It's not just good for some of us like people who look like me. Justice is about everybody and all of us. All of us benefit from being respected, heard, affirmed, and elevated. Everybody benefits from justice. This is not a zero-sum game where one group's share of the American dream takes away another group's share of that dream. There is room in the dream for all of us. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality tied in the single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Use your newly minted legal powers for good and for action. You've been well trained to not take anything at face value, to dig under the surface to what lies beneath. What is the issue? What is the rule of law? And then what needs to be changed? You will have a critically important job of representation. Your ability to set aside your bias and to live in another's shoes will make you a better lawyer. The law is not static, after all, is it? It is a living, breathing thing. The law and lawyers have been the impetus for epic change for good. From court decisions that legalized gay marriage, to legislation that gave people the right to vote, to pro bono work that gave George Floyd justice, Let us use the law to take action. The world as we know it is full of lots of inequities. We can do better. We must do better. As the late, great civil rights icon, Congressman John Lewis said, when you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you have to speak up. You have to say something. You have to do something. What can you do? Volunteer, do pro bono work, do public interest law, join a coalition or create one around social justice. Write to your legislators, mentor and sponsor, especially someone who doesn't look like you. Donate, be an ally, speak up, and take action. Remember, the time is always right to do the right thing. Congratulations, class of 2021. You have the tools and the talents to do the right thing. Now go out and make some good trouble. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Jen Davis. That's right. That's right. Honk, honk, honk. I love it. We got to do this like every year, right? At this time, I would like to share a brief video for your pleasure and entertainment because it contains congratulatory messages from our Dickinson Law community. This is for you, our class of 2021 graduates, and thank goodness we're at a drive-in. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Congratulations, class of 2021. You did it. You had the drive to thrive even during a global pandemic. It's incredible. I am so proud of each and every one of you for everything you've accomplished. You have bright futures ahead of you. Congrats.
Dear class of 2021, you did it, but we knew you could. The Office of Admissions and Financial Aid has been rooting for you since the day we admitted you. I know the past 3 years have been full of ups and downs, highs and lows, but you've done the work and you deserve to celebrate. We are so excited for you, and we can't wait to see the many ways that you will practice greatness in the years to come. Stay in touch.
Congratulations, class of 2021. You have so much success ahead of you, and so we tip our hats to you. Woo!
It's a privilege to welcome you to Dickinson Law in orientation in August of 2018. I'm now equally honored to congratulate you on your graduation. While you'll be moving to the next stopping point in your legal career, you'll always be a beloved member of the Dickinson Law family. I wish you the very best in law and in life.
Congratulations, class of 2021. You made it. I bet fall 2018 civil procedure seems like a very long time ago. Your class is always going to have a very special place in my heart because you're the class that I'm graduating with too. So I just want to wish you all the best in the future.
Congratulations to the class of 2021. You have demonstrated resolve, grit, and an ability to see hope in dark days and to act on that hope to change the world we live in. As you move into communities beyond the walls of Penn State Dickinson Law, I know you will carry with you the heightened responsibility of the lawyer, the responsibility to further the public's understanding of our Constitution and the rule of law, to serve as navigators of the legal system and as advocates for access, and to seek improvement of the law. I wish you every success on the path ahead.
A well-deserved congratulations. While life is not a straight line, I trust you will find your passion and enjoy your journey, including using your platform for the cause of true equality and justice, helping those who are less fortunate and contributing to the betterment of society. So yes, I hope you all do well and that you do good.
To the class of 2021, it seems like just yesterday we were watching A Few Good Men on the lawn during orientation movie night, and now here you are graduating from law school. I just want to say it has been a pleasure to get to know you and work with you throughout the last 3 years, and I'm going to miss you all terribly. Wishing you every success.
Congratulations, class of 2021. It has been a pleasure getting to know you over the last 3 years. I wish you the best of luck on all your future endeavors. And don't forget to come back and visit.
I don't know who out there says lawyers aren't creative. The Pennsylvania State University Board of Trustees has final responsibility for the governance, welfare, and all other matters pertaining to the university. The Board of Trustees is represented today by Attorney David M. Kleppinger. Attorney Kleppinger was appointed to the Board of Trustees by Governor Tom Wolf effective January 2017. He was elected to serve as vice chairman of the board in 2020. Trustee Kleppinger earned his BA from Penn State in 1977 and his Juris Doctor from the Temple University School of Law in 1980. Trustee Kleppinger is Chairman Emeritus at McNeese, Wallace & Nurek, LLC, a law firm in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, after serving as chairman for 12 years. He served as vice chair of the board of the Pennsylvania Chamber of Business and Industry from 2015 to 2018, and as chair from 2019 to 2020. At Penn State, he is a member of the College of the Liberal Arts Political Science Department's Board of Visitors, for which he served as chair from 2013 to 2015. We are extremely pleased to have him here with us today. Trustee Kleppinger, please join me at the podium. I have the honor on behalf of the faculty of Dickinson Law to present the 2021 graduates for the conferring of degrees of Master of Law.
Thank you, Dean Conway. Dr. Jones, by virtue of the authority vested in the Board of Trustees of the Pennsylvania State University and on behalf of the entire board, I authorize you to confer on these candidates the degree earned as certified by the faculty, and it is my honor to do so.
Thank you, Trustee Kleppinger. Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Laws please rise? Upon recommendation of the faculty and authorization from the University Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Laws with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Dean Gaudian will announce the name of each recipient of the Master of Laws degree. When your name is called, we will present you with a commemorative gift box, and you will enjoy the right to wear the purple hood denoting your degree.
1992, Isa Tamamura of Tokyo, Japan, became the first international student to earn a law degree from Dickinson Law. Since that time, the law school has encouraged enrollment of international students who wish to gain a better understanding of the U.S. legal system. In 1968, the school formally adopted a Master of Law program for international students. And since that time, students from approximately 50 different countries have earned the LLM degree and have gone on to make significant national and international contributions. Candidates for the degree of Master of Law, as your name is called, please move forward. Zhao Guozhen.
Okay. So as you know, last year, because of the pandemic, we were unable to hold commencement ceremonies. At this time last year, we were desperate because we could not honor the students in that class. We are fortunate to have a representative from the class of 2020 who will be recognized at your ceremony. Today, we are joined by Dickinson Law, class of 2020 graduate, Amy Maldonado.
Amy Maldonado.
Thank you, Amy Maldonado, for representing the class of 2020. Trustee Kleppinger will now authorize the conferring of the degrees of Juris Doctor on behalf of the Penn State Board of Trustees.
Thank you again, Dean Conway. And before I do that, I just want to say how special it is for me to be here tonight. I don't know if the memory serves you well out there, but believe it or not, I spoke to you as first-year law students in your context and competencies class. Don't all roll your eyes how boring it was. But thanks to Laura Williams, it was my honor to present on a panel to you, and hopefully you were able to retain the two things that I suggested back then, which was learn how to differentiate yourself from everyone else, and the message from Susan Ginn Davis was underscoring that point. And also to exercise and learn your interpersonal skills, which will set you apart from so many other lawyers that are out there today. You've been challenged the last year and a half in developing those skills, but I know that the foundation has been laid for you to do that. The second reason that this is very special for me tonight, and I've done many of these commencements, is to share the stage with Susan Ginn Davis. What she didn't say in her remarks was that she and I have known each other for almost 30 years or more. And I was in the courtroom the very first time Susan Ginn Davis cross-examined a witness in the Office of Consumer Advocate. And boy, has she come a long way. Congratulations, Susan. And then finally, it's also special tonight because the wife of one of my longtime colleagues and friends at McNeese Wallace in Newark, where I spent my entire career, is among your graduating class. I will not call her out by name, but she's probably the one blushing the most behind her mask right now. With that being said, Dr. Jones, once again, by virtue of the authority vested in the Board of Trustees of the Pennsylvania State University, and on behalf of that entire board, I authorize you to confer on each of these candidates the degree earned and as certified by the faculty. Congratulations.
Thank you, Trustee Cleppinger. Before we proceed to the conferral of degrees, I wish to recognize our graduates who are veterans, actively serving, or will be joining the military after graduation. Please join me in a round of applause thanking them for their significant contributions to our nation. Thank you. Now we turn to the conferral of degrees. Will the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor please rise, if you haven't already? Upon recommendation of the faculty and authorization from the University Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the degree of Juris Doctor with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Dean Gaudian will announce the name of each recipient of the Juris Doctor degree. When your name is called, we will present you with a commemorative gift box, and you will enjoy the right to wear the purple hood denoting your degree.
First, I would like to recognize our JD candidates who could not join us in person today. Breon Bennett. Najiba Baya. Tony Charlante. Michaela Cloutier. Michael Goldthwait. Samantha Jock. Eric Miller. Vladimir Posnikov. Jacob Ryder. Lauren Shelby. Jacqueline Stryker. Christian Swieger. Wang Zhao. I will now go on to the candidates who are with us this evening. Jeffrey Balmer. Mari Boyle. Nicholas Paul Cherry. We are pleased to share a photo of Nicholas and his father, the Honorable Paul E. Cherry, class of 1983. Not pictured here is Nicholas's grandfather, the Honorable John A. Cherry, class of 1936. Dylan Conrad. Tony DiAugustino. Caitlin Cook Demerol. Chelsea Dickert. Anthony Fanucci. Aaron J. Gallagher. Joseph Jenko. Brian Gogg. Cole Gordner. Danny Grace Gray. M. Jacqueline Gross. Gowan Fury Zacharias Grunlow. Gustav Giggy. Philip Hall. Christine Hahn. Daniel Hanley. Megan Hopkins. Ann Harisian. Rose M. Hughes. Jack Jackson. Ashley Lyric Jones. Robert John Cantner. Elon Shai Kaplan. Jack Kerwin. Ryan Kingshill. Trevor Nathan Klein. Emily Courtwright. McKay Ashman Lewis. Jacqueline Adele Llewellyn. We are pleased to share a photo of Jacqueline and her grandfather, Don Llewellyn, class of 1961. Zoe Mathern. William Nathaniel McCormick. Michael Patrick McDonald. We are pleased to share a photo of Michael and his father, Michael J. McDonald, class of 1979. Courtney McMonigal. We are pleased to share a photo of Courtney and her father, Jim McMonigal, class of 1992. Mimi Miller. Travis Joseph Murray. Amelia Lynn Nahum. Stephanie Rose Katrina Orlando. Sunil Parekh. Caitlin Marie Price. Caitlin Richards. Erin Sue. Alexis Shovel. Margaret Shoemake. Tessa Elizabeth Scher. We are pleased to share a photo of Tessa and her grandfather, Bertram Sweeney, a friend of Dickinson Law. Shavya Singh. Stephen Spear. It's getting wild back there. Connor Charles Stengel. Elikam Kofi Chikada. Rachel Tunney. Jeremy Ohm. Christian Villegas. Robin M. White. Peter J. Wicklum. Iman Woodyard. Jake Jans.
It is my honor to present to all of you the Dickinson Law class of 2021. The president of the Law School's Alumni Society, which is a part of the Penn State Alumni Association, is attorney Richard Bobby. President Bobby is one of the law school's most dedicated alumni volunteers. He is a partner at Greenblatt Pierce Fonten Flores, LLC in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. President Bobby will now induct all of our degree recipients into the Dickinson Law Alumni Society of the Penn State Alumni Association.
Dickinson, proud. Tonight and every day, I am Dickinson Law Penn State proud. I am so proud of the faculty and the staff and the administration of the school that saw you through these 3 years, particularly the last 18 months. I am so proud of the alumni who have reached out to you during that time, whether it was through a Zoom or in person or an interview or anything like that. Most of all, I am so proud of you guys. You will have this to lord over all other Dickinson alumni for the rest of your careers. No one will be able to top this story, God willing. As Dean Conway said, my name is Rich Bobby. I graduated back in 1999, and I represent the Dickinson Law Alumni Society of the Penn State Alumni Association. The Dickinson Law Alumni Society celebrates your successes and welcomes you into a proud network of fellow graduates. More than 174,000 alumni and friends like you keep their connection to our world-class university strong through membership in the Penn State Alumni Association. Today, on behalf of the Alumni Association, I am honored to share our graduation gift to you, a one-year membership in the Penn State Alumni Association. Enjoy it, take advantage of it, and here's a pro tip. Get your lifetime membership now, but wait until the weekend after Thanksgiving, because it's 50% off that weekend every single year. So don't do it yet, but do it either this year or next year when your complimentary membership lapses. Your membership keeps you in touch with Penn State and connects you with more than 300 geographically dispersed alumni, chapters, interest groups, and college and campus alumni societies. No matter where you'll live, what you've studied, or which campus you attended, we have a group that will match your interests. After graduation, once you are settled, be sure to reach out to fellow alumni in your area. Be sure to reach out to me. Your Dickinson Law family will be happy to hear from you and to support you as you embark on this next exciting chapter in your legal career. It gives me great pleasure to induct all graduating students into the Dickinson Law Alumni Society of the Penn State Alumni Association. Congratulations, and we are. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, President Bobby. It is my honor to invite graduate Rachel Tunney of the class of 2021 to deliver remarks. Where are you, graduate Tunney? Following her remarks, we will hear the closing cry of the verger pro tem. We ask that the audience remain parked after the closing cry until the last graduate finds their way safely to their vehicle.
Most of you here have not attended law school, and I want to get us all on the same page. So I want to start with a quick U.S. history lesson recap and remind you that the legislative branch is in charge of making the law, and the judicial branch is in charge of interpreting that law. Legal persuasion was a class we took during our first semester. It was taught by our dean at the time, now Professor Gilden, and it was a class where we learned the different tools that attorneys may use when interpreting that law. One of those tools we learned is statutory construction. It's the process of determining what words of a particular law mean. It's useful when a statute has a word or a phrase that is ambiguous, meaning it's susceptible to more than one reasonable interpretation. And we learned that one way judges and attorneys resolve these issues of ambiguity is to find the plain meaning of the word. Now, how do we find that plain meaning? Well, one way is to resort to dictionaries. Yes, this is a real thing. Now that I have caught you up really quickly, we learned a little bit more in 3 years. I want to do one last final statutory construction exercise as a class together. We were welcomed with open arms that first day to practice greatness. And when I first heard that motto, I imagined all the alumni who had come before us, people who were advocates and judges, all fighting greatly for their clients each and every day. But here's the thing. The word practice can be used as a noun or as a verb. The phrase practice greatness implies the verbal usage. Now there's two verbal definitions of practice that I want to draw your attention to. The first is to perform a particular activity regularly. This aligns with what I believed our alumni were doing, advocating greatly on a regular basis. But there's a second definition, and that is to perform a skill repeatedly in order to improve one's proficiency. Practice greatness. I'm gonna put this down real quick. And when I think about that second definition, I realize that's what my classmates have been doing this entire time. I have been surrounded by greatness at Penn State Dickinson Law since the first day. Greatness was letting your classmates know you would volunteer for that case on diversity jurisdiction when you barely understood it yourself. Greatness was revising that moot court argument over and over and over again, never giving up, and being prepared to be grilled virtually. Greatness was offering to send a struggling classmate your detailed notes, even though you knew the professor only gave out 6 A's. Greatness was refusing to choose between carrying a child and being a law student, even if it meant going virtual before all of us. Greatness was refusing to choose between being a good father and a law student, even if it meant bringing your newborn to class. Greatness was taking advocacy classes when public speaking terrified you. Greatness was silencing a witness during mock trial by demanding he only answer in the affirmative or in the negative, even though he had been trained to distract you with long, drawn-out sentences. Greatness was serving your country while completing your classes. It was saying yes and I do during, quote, unprecedented times. Greatness was refusing to let your black skin, Asian heritage, or sexual orientation hold you back, even as you questioned your safety, your privacy, and your worth. When your classmates spoke outrage and you wanted to whisper that life has always been this way. Greatness was learning to listen. Greatness was swallowing your pride when your childhood nighttime panic attacks resumed, taking medication just to have the ability to sit through class. Greatness was being a voice for all of us and refusing to be quiet. Greatness was sometimes just getting through the day. It was every time you clicked Zoom when all you wanted to do was throw something at the wall and scream. And it was delivering an oral argument mere days after your father was admitted into the hospital due to COVID-19. Greatness is sitting here looking at an unknown future in the eyes and saying, I refuse to give up. Hear me when I say you are greatness today. You have done what no other class before you has had to do. 1/2 of your law school career online. You didn't ask for this challenge. You didn't ask for these circumstances. But those who are great never do. They cry, they scream, and they doubt. But they persevere, and they get through it, like you did. I have no doubt that wherever you go and whatever you do, you will be great because you have been here practicing. My name is Rachel Tunney, and it is an honor to be part of the graduating class of 2021, the class that endures. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you, Rachel. By command of the Dean and faculty of Dickinson Law, I hereby declare this convocation closed. Thank you for joining us this evening, and please drive safely.